This can't be possible. I'm completely stunned by this momentous decision. It's hard to believe what just happened, but the truth is there, wide open, and causing a veritable earthquake behind the scenes in the NFL. The Las Vegas Raiders, who had been betting heavily on impact players to transform their defense, decided to make a move that took everyone by surprise, and by everyone, I include fans, analysts, players, and even members of the league itself. Christian Wilkins, one of the most coveted names last offseason, was unceremoniously released just 1 year after signing a massive 4-year contract worth an impressive $110 million. Wilkins arrived in Las Vegas surrounded by expectations. A first-round pick in 2019, he was seen as the anchor who could solidify the defensive line and change the unit's identity. However, the reality turned out to be quite different. The defensive tackle only saw action 5 times in 2024 before being sidelined by a broken foot, an injury that cut short his career just as he was trying to establish himself as a central piece of the Raiders' defense. In those few games, he tallied 17 tackles and 2 sacks, but it appears the main problem was far from his performance on the field. According to several sources close to the team, the final straw was Wilkins' handling of the injury rehabilitation process. The front office was frustrated with his lack of commitment, the pace of his recovery, and, most importantly, his behavior behind the scenes. The atmosphere soured completely, and even with a contract packed with guarantees, the Raiders made the decision to cut ties before the internal tension turned into a public crisis. But Wilkins didn't take it lying down. The 29-year-old immediately filed a formal complaint with the NFLPA, the Players Association, to contest his release and seek payment of the $35.2 million still guaranteed under his contract. We're talking about a potential legal battle that could not only be costly for the Raiders, but also set dangerous precedents for how franchises handle injuries and rehabilitation for their players. And as if the legal drama weren't enough, there's now a new twist. Wilkins may not be available on the market for long. Reports indicate that the New England Patriots are already closely monitoring the situation, and it's not just a matter of technical necessity, it's personal. Wilkins grew up in Springfield, Massachusetts, rooting for the Patriots. His childhood idol? None other than the legendary Vince Wilfork, a former All-Pro defensive tackle for the franchise. The emotional connection is strong, and Mike Vrabel's team has plenty of salary cap space, over $60 million, according to Spotrac. Vrabel, in fact, has publicly admitted that he knows Wilkins, and that the possibility of signing him is indeed on the coaching staff's radar. This means the player could very well leave Las Vegas for New England before the regular season even starts, and, ironically, become a key player on a defense that historically values aggressive, intelligent linemen like him. While the Raiders put out the fire left by this explosive dismissal, another quiet scenario is beginning to take shape behind the scenes. It doesn't involve million-dollar sums or legal battles, but it could directly impact the future of the team's offense. The competition for a spot in the quarterback room is fiercer than many realize, and a surprising rookie could be about to disrupt the entire game plan in Las Vegas. Geno Smith may be the Raiders' undisputed starter heading into 2025, but behind the scenes, something very real is happening, and it could shake up the quarterback room significantly. With third-year passer Aiden O'Connell holding down the starting QB2 spot for now, rookie Cam Miller is starting to make waves. Miller, drafted in the 6th round out of North Dakota State, wasn't expected to push O'Connell this hard this early, but the coaching staff, including Pete Carroll, is giving him a real chance. Carroll spoke with the press and clarified the situation. While admitting that Miller is still adjusting to the speed of the NFL, he emphasized that O'Connell currently has the advantage due to his experience and football IQ. Aiden has been impressive, Carroll said. His command of the offense, his poise, his ability to handle pressure, all of that has been highlighted since day one. And the numbers don't lie. O'Connell threw for 3,830 yards and 20 touchdowns in 20 games, including 17 starts, a solid output for a former 4th-round pick. He also survived 2 coaching changes and demonstrated a level of mental toughness recently reported in young quarterbacks. But don't write Miller off too soon. Carroll admitted that while the newcomer is inexperienced, he's already shown flashes of potential that could give the coaching staff something to think about as training camp progresses. If Miller can outperform O'Connell, he wouldn't be surprised if trade rumors start swirling around the current backup. And that brings us to another big change, this time on defense, where the Raiders are redefining the role of one of the league's most polarizing players. If there's one word that defines the Raiders' current offseason, it's boldness, and the latest move couldn't better reflect that philosophy. After years of battling injuries and seeing his career dramatically slowed down, Jamal Adams now gets a new chance, but not in the traditional way. Instead of simply reinstating him as a safety, his original position, the Raiders have decided to go further. They're converting the former All-Pro to linebacker. That's right, one of the most aggressive and explosive safeties of the last decade will now be repositioned closer to the line of scrimmage, with the mission of making an immediate impact on Las Vegas's defensive end engineering. This move, which may seem risky to some, has solid foundations. According to the Athletic's Tashan Reed, Adams has, for the Raiders, this role redesign could be a turning point for both the defense and Adams's career. After being released by the Seattle Seahawks in 2023, many saw him as a player in decline, marred by injuries and questions about his durability. He bounced around between teams without finding a new home and seemed to be disappearing from the NFL radar. But Las Vegas tapped into the potential hidden beneath the difficulties and is now trying to get the most out of a talent who, if utilized well, can still cause errors on the field. But this change isn't without its internal impact. The depth at linebacker was immediately shaken. Veterans like Devin White, one of the defense's top names, and Jalen Smith, experienced and physical, now find themselves under pressure from yet another tough competitor. And for the young talents trying to earn their place on the roster, like Amari Gaynor, Tommy Eichenberg, and Cody Lindenberg, the margin for error has become even smaller. Every rep in training camp is now worth its weight in gold, as the competition for roster spots is fiercer than ever, and the restrictions don't stop there. Adams' transition to the linebacker group also has a direct impact on the roster's safeties. Chris Smith and Trey Taylor, both considered bubble players, may have another chance to prove themselves, as the depth chart has partially opened up with Adams' symbolic departure from the position. However, to develop a coaching staff capable of maintaining 5 safeties on the roster, both will need to impress a lot. It's not enough to simply fulfill the basics. They will need to shine. For Jamal Adams, this is likely the last major chapter of his NFL career. There's no more room for injuries, inconsistencies, or lengthy readjustments. The Raiders' bet is clear. Transform a once-elite player into a versatile and aggressive weapon at the second defensive level. A low-risk gamble, yes, but one that could yield a huge reward if it works. And for fans, the question still echoes through the franchise's corridors. Will this turnaround work? Can Adams truly reinvent his career, overcome the specter of injury, and become a new pillar of the Las Vegas defense? With Wilkins going to war with the NFLPA, a quarterback race poised to escalate, and Jamal Adams being reinvented at linebacker, are the Raiders building a breakthrough season or taking too many risks with decisions that could cost them this season? Leave your opinion. Here, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, but I'll be back later to update you with the latest Raiders news.